Hello and welcome to another episode for my series Quick Thoughts On, in which I chaotically ramble about different stories from the rich Star Trek universe. This video will be about an episode from the second season of the classic Star Trek TV show called The Gamesters of Triskelion. This episode was first aired on January 5th, 1968, which means 50 years and 1 week ago, and the so-called remastered version, meaning with CGI effects, was first aired on the 20th of October 2007. When I think about most of the episodes of Star Trek, I can think about different things. Sometimes I remember the message, sometimes I remember the story, some scenes, the impact it had on me, sometimes the music, and many times the actors. When I think about the Gamesters of Triskelion, all I can remember is a green-haired woman with big tits, and a half-naked Kirk speaking to a huge glass jar containing 3 gelatinous brains in front of the reused matte paintings from The Devil in the Dark. And I must learn how to write shorter sentences. That's all. I had to watch this episode 4 times this week, twice with the original effects and twice with the CGI effects, and I remember the same stuff. It's very rare that I have to actually Google the episode synopsis. Even though I have seen this only a few days ago, the problem is very simple. Not many things really happen in this episode. This episode consists of 3 scenes. In the first scene, we see Spock, McCoy, and Scotty talking on the bridge. More precisely, Scotty and McCoy opposing Spock's command. In other words, people talking. The second scene is Kirk or Uhura or Chekhov talking to their thralls. I had to Google the term, even though I had watched this episode a few hours ago. In other words, people talking. The third scene is Kirk or Uhura or Chekhov or all of them fighting in the arena, if you want to call it like that. So we have 3 types of scenes. People talking on the bridge, people talking on a planet, and people fighting without a good reason. The fact that the discussion is the same in every scene doesn't really help. Don't you believe me? In every single discussion on the bridge, McCoy and Scott say, "We should search for the missing people on the planet," while Spock says, "They are not there and I have command, so shut up." On the planet, Kirk just tries to find out everything about the rulers of the planet, and green-haired lady says that it's forbidden. Since they make the same points all over again, it becomes really boring very soon, at least for me. The fights are also very boring. Nobody gets killed, the thralls can't be killed because the NBC Broadcast Standards Division didn't allow it. And our heroes can't be killed because, well, they are the main heroes. So we get scenes of people, our heroes, fighting other creatures. I refuse to call them the villains because they are clearly not the villains, for stupid reasons, meaning they are ordered to do so. And we know that they won't die. So why exactly should we care? And this is my main problem with this episode. During the whole episode, I don't really care about the stuff which is happening in front of my eyes. And when it ends, I feel like I completely wasted 50 minutes of my life. I'm not even angry or disappointed. I think that the best term for it would be that I feel nothing. This episode leaves me emotionally empty, and when I see that the green-haired lady in the end of the episode seems to start crying, I feel confused. I know that I should be feeling something. I mean, they will have their freedom and our heroes get home, so I should be happy, but as I said, I feel nothing. It feels like this started as a script for some strange porn movie and they cut out all of the sex. I will try to talk about the plot, but that will be a bit tough for me because there is very little story in this episode. Kirk, Uhura, and Chekhov want to beam down to a planet, but they disappear before Scotty manages to do anything. And this is all we get in the Enterprise scenes. Scotty and McCoy think that they must be on the planet or somewhere in space, but Spock wants to search for them elsewhere, and that's what every single scene on the bridge is about. The 3, meanwhile, appear on some strange yellow and grey floor on a planet called Triskelion, and are attacked by Lars Ulrich, a caveman, a feminist, and a porn star. I'm sorry, I know that they have names, but I can't be bothered. They fight and fight when suddenly bald version of Ozzy Osbourne appears and gives them some exposition. Captain Caveman attaches them to a wall, only to deattach them in the end of the very same scene. So, what was the point? They now have strange colors and they find out very soon what are these things for. When they try to run away, Ozzy, who controls the colors, gives them shocks. Lars Ulrich is assigned to Uhura, the green-haired porn star, to Kirk, poor guy, and the third-wave feminist to Chekhov. When Kirk takes the thing off his plate, I honestly thought he will use to smack it on her head, but no, he's a gentleman. He uses it to tell her she's beautiful. You know, Kirk is alone with a half-naked woman. Of course, she's his love interest. Ozzy and Lars bring a black man in chains and want Uhura to use him as target practice. Since Uhura refuses to do it, she is now the new target practice. So yeah, if you feel weird watching a black man being beaten up by a white man, you can feel a bit better now. You will be watching a black woman being beaten up by a white man. That's better, right? Well, thanks God Kirk sacrifices himself for her, but no caveman is a match for Kirk. Of course, Kirk wins. Then he tries to talk to green-haired lady, but when she starts responding about their so-called providers, she gets punished too. Kirk saves her, only to kiss her and then punch her. Then we see that Chekhov has restrained the feminist, and scenes like this are the reason why I said that it looks like it started like a porn movie. They try to escape, but as always, they get punished, but Kirk provokes the providers so much that they transport him down in front of a reused matte painting, so this is the most famous scene of the whole episode. Captain Kirk is talking to three brains in a jar. So, Kirk agrees to fight to the death with all thralls. Remember, fight to the death. And because the writer remembered that the bridge crew has to do something, using the power of magic, they can watch the duel on screen. I hate when they do these things. I hated it when they've done it in Arena, one of my favorite episodes ever, and I hate it in this episode. Also, Kirk will lose if he jumps out of the yellow parts, so enjoy watching a compilation of shots in which Kirk moves out of the yellow parts and nothing happens to him. And just for fun, check the top of the stage, which can be seen in this shot. The green-haired lady attacks Kirk as the last one, but there's no woman Kirk wouldn't be able to beat. So how does this battle to the death end? Green-haired lady gives up and the brains accept it. Sad. What does this mean? Well, the thralls will be free, the brains will teach them how to take care about themselves, and our heroes come back to the ship. And as I said before, we are supposed to feel something. Well, I can't. I'm not sure if it's a problem with me, or with the script, or if I'm an old cynical bastard. What's this episode actually about? Because the only thing I can think about is the value of freedom, and we had episodes about that before, so... I mean, we even had the first pilot about that. And yes, that episode includes our captain locked up in the cage with a sexy woman, just like this episode. I think that the correct way how to describe this episode is repetitive. It repeats themes from other episodes and its own internal structure is also very repetitive. As I said, for the vast majority of the episode we get the same three scenes over and over again, something similar to the season 1 episode The Squire of Gothos, which was also pretty repetitive. Needless to say, I'm not really a fan of this one. I would like to know more about the thralls, even about the bald Ozzy, maybe even about the brains themselves, simply anything which would break the form of this episode. Just give me something. I feel like the writer wrote a script, but then they realized that there is enough story for something like a 20 minutes long short and not a 50 minutes long story, so they padded it as good as they could. I don't think that this episode is bad. I would actually be glad if this was bad. For example, I am one of the people who watched the Star Wars Holiday Special, which is an objectively horrible TV movie, but I just love watching how bad it is. This episode is just nothing. This episode was written by Margaret Arman. I checked her credits and she did return to Star Trek. She wrote the Paradise Syndrome and the Cloudminders for the original series, and the Lorelei Signal and the Ambergris Element for the animated series. And I can't say I actually liked any of her episodes. This was a hard episode for me to rate. I usually use a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is total garbage, 5 is average, and 10 is a masterpiece. So how should I rate this one? I didn't hate it, so it should be definitely more than 0, but definitely doesn't deserve more than 5. Actually, I think it deserves less than 5, so let's say I would give this episode 4 out of 10. It's not horrible, but it's not even average. But anyway, as always, these were just my opinions. Feel free to write down your opinions down in the comment section. Do you like this episode, hate it, or think it's just average? If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and if you have some free time, feel free to watch any other video on my channel. You should see some links on screen right now. So thank you very much for watching, and see you very soon. I still have many videos I missed, so I have still a lot of work in front of me. Thanks again, and see you soon. Bye. Then he tries to talk to the bad. So he does this battle to the death, and